I saw the best quote the other day. It says, obedient people think of themselves as virtuous rather than cowardly. And when I look around Austin, I'm like, that is so true. So I'm going to tell, she might watch this because she watches sometimes, but one of my friends, I'm proud of her, it was awesome. She told me a story. She went off on this dude. You know, she has trouble breathing in these masks, like most people do, because you're not meant to wear them 24/7. But she, you know, goes someplace, this guy's filming her. She's like, are you filming me? He's like, yeah. And she's like, oh, why? Because you're not wearing a mask. You're being totally irresponsible. You're putting us all in danger. Says, you know, and then she's like, you don't even know, like, I can have a health condition. So you're going to shame me on social media for having a health condition? And that's the thing about these virtuous ass people that think that they're like doing good and they're saving the world and they're doing it to protect you. You know, first of all, they're the most anti-science people I've ever met in my whole fucking life. They're so anti-science that they can't even mix it in with their common sense, okay? But, you know, you're going to shame somebody that, you know, you don't even know. You're not going to even ask or figure out the situation. You're just going to shame them and make them feel bad. Maybe they want to wear a mask and they can't because it makes the situation worse. It makes them more susceptible. It limits their breathing. But you're gonna shame them without even knowing their situation. What a terrible, horrible fucking human being. I hope he, you know, and she told him off, and I'm glad he did. And he's probably sorry that he did that shit, because from what I understand, she made him feel really, really stupid, like the stupid dumbass that he is. But I'm sick of this thing, and I'm making a note of businesses. I understand that they're businesses that are trying to stay open, and there's this one plant shop that I go to, and I know one of the ladies has asthma, like really bad, and her inhaler is at the cash register, and she was like, she had her mask on, she was taking it off, and she was like literally like wheezing and having like an attack in front of me. And I was like, girl, like, you know, like, you're exempt, you don't have to wear that mask because it can trigger asthma attacks. And she's like, yeah, I know, but the people keep calling and reporting us. So I'm like, oh my God, what horrible fucking people, right? So I know the stores now that know that feel they have to enforce it because they're getting bullied by their fucking patrons. And I know the difference between stores now and businesses that make you feel like shame you. They'll never be getting any of my fucking business again. I'm making a note of that. The businesses that are shaming me for not wearing a mask, or anybody, right? Won't even ask you, doesn't even care what your situation is. They just automatically assume. And this is the thing what makes making this whole situation political being so dangerous. It's just that, like, you know, there could be different reasons why people are doing and aren't doing things. But if you're not wearing a mask, if you even question things now, they're just like, Trump supporter, they're just throwing that category. Because I guess obviously now if you're a critical thinker, you're automatically a Trump supporter. Because my friend was just talking about numbers that she was getting off the CDC website, and she had one of her friends saying, "Oh, that's just what Trump said." Well, he's saying what he's he's reading from the CDC website. Dumbass. Like, so I guess facts now are political. I guess common sense is political now. Because if you question stuff, if you dare not wear a mask, if you know about your immune system when other people don't, if you know that, that masks don't stop viruses, if you happen to have common sense and know that when virologists wear, when they're dealing with deadly viruses, they wear hazmat suits, right? If you put together the simple fact, if this virus is so deadly, where are the bins of hazmat? Don't you have to, even in a hospital or in certain situations when you throw away biohazard materials, you have to put it in a special bin that can't be opened, and you have to dispose of it properly? But we don't have any of that, right? If you're not putting together that, the virus can enter your eyes and your ears, but you're not wearing earplugs or goggles, the whole, like I keep saying, the whole homeless population, nobody ever answers that. And it's like one person was like, oh, it's because they have really good immune systems. Well, I'm like, okay, well then you just admitted something then. You admitted two things, right? Or you admitted that you said two things basically with that statement. So one statement is that if they have good immune systems, then you don't have to wear masks. So anybody that has a good immune system doesn't have to do any of that shit, right? If you're assuming that the homeless population isn't sick or hasn't been wiped out because their immune systems are so good, right? Then you're admitting that you can build up immunity by yourself without having to wear a mask, okay? Or do any of that bullshit, because that's what they haven't been doing any of that shit, really. Now I see homeless people wearing masks because the horrible fucking virtue signaling people won't even give them money or talk to them unless they're wearing a mask. I've asked, I know this because I personally asked some homeless people that I now see wearing a mask. They're like, yeah, people gave me one, and they're probably not even like throwing it away or using a new one, so they're probably getting sicker by wearing the mask, but whatever, you know? So then the other thing that the person says about the homeless not having or having great immune system is the fact that they really don't have good immune systems. They're sleep deprived, they don't wash, they're in poor sanitary conditions, and they don't, they're in the high stressful environment, and they don't eat healthy food. So all those things, they don't have, like, how would you even, you're just guessing? You're just guessing because you don't know science. You think you know science. You think you know it, but you don't, right? So I'm just assuming people that are anti-science don't, you know, and a lot of people, it just seems to me that a lot of people that are really, it seems like a lot of highly educated people are falling for the shit the most. So a lot of the blue collar people, like, get this, that this is bullshit from the jump, okay? I know there are exceptions on both ends. I'm just saying this is my observation and my experience, okay? And then they want to call us anti-science. And then you know you should do too? Look at the health condition, the mental health condition, and the physical health condition of the people that are shaming you for not wearing a mask. The people that I see that aren't wearing a mask usually are healthy because they put their health first, right? And I've definitely seen, you know, people that are, you know, wearing a mask and they're pushing a cart full of soda and fucking chips. Because the mask is going to help their health, okay? So I'm just curious, how long do you think this is going to go on? How long is it going to be before people really like start to say something? Do you think most people think that this is going to blow over? Or do you think that their people are just prepared to accept this as their way of life? And I think that people that are preparing to accept this as a new way of life have a lot of self-hatred, and it's really sad. Low self-esteem. Right? It takes a lot of, like, I feel, my friend said this and she's right. So I'm taking my words from my friend, but I agree with her. She basically says that when she goes out and she doesn't wear a mask, she feels like she's going into battle because the people are so mean and so nasty. You know, I just kind of tune them out. I'm just over it. You know, I'm just like, well, at least I don't look like that. At least I'm not lowering my oxygen level. At least I'm not breathing back in my bacteria. At least I feel confident in myself and healthy enough that I can walk around with a smile. But it's sad that there are people that don't. So like I said, how long do you think this is going to go on? Do you think they're going to try to make this go on forever? And when do you think, if you think at all, people are going to like just have it, just be at their wit's end? All right, that's it, y'all. That's my event for today. I will talk to you later. Peace, love, bye-bye. Mwah.